Baby, shake up your bam bam, shake up your bam bam, your bam bam. Ladies, shake up your bam bam, shake up your bam bam. Now get out a hand for the part where you start jiggle jiggle. Tell them you win one bad when you wiggle it. Nigeria, Trinidad, girl, you killing it. Bring that thing there, let me middle it. I never witnessed sickness like this, miss. When you shake it up your business, fitness, princess, let me insist. I got to give you something of interest. And you get the ratings, girl. Sexy, misbehaving, girl. Push back like you want to break it, girl. I hope you can take it, girl. See where you wine, and make me go down low. Oh, no, wine, you go down low. You got your bam bam. You never know where I come from. Yeah, shake up your bam bam, shake up your bam bam, the bam bam. Yeah, shake up your bam bam, hook up your bumper. You got to wine and stop. Yeah, shake up your bam bam, hook up your bumper. Let me see you make it drop. See where you wine, and make me go down low. Oh, no, wine, you go down low.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Good morning, SVG. We are back with you for another Activated Mornings program here on the WEFM. Listen, I'm probably sounding happier than I actually am, yeah? I don't know. I think I probably fell asleep in a bad position and I got a slight strained neck, folks. You know, sometimes you just drop sleep anyhow, and however you wake up, you wake up. But that's to tell you when your body tired, it's tired. All right, so hope that everybody is doing just fine. It looks like it is, well, it's supposed to be a rainy day. It did start off in that way, rainy and very windy. The wind, I don't mind. You know, sometimes I find it feeling like a little bit of Christmas breeze every now and again. I think Saturday I felt a bit of Christmas breeze, so I was happy for that. All right,
Some leftover breeze.
Yeah, but it probably was just more an indication that it was going to rain. But yeah, so hope that everybody is doing just fine and you're out and about and you are getting ready to have a good and a productive day. Might be a short day for some of you, but yeah, morning everybody. Morning, Dianna.
Morning, Roleza. Good morning to everyone. I can't believe it's Friday. Just
I
last
mean, it's
week.
only.
I know.
Technically, you only worked 4 days this week. Okay, everybody else only worked 3.
But it's
well,
still
many other
came
persons.
It still came fast. Just last week, we were preparing for the carnival weekend, and now look at us.
And that's the thing with things in general. Like you look forward to things so much, they come, they happen, and then everything becomes just a memory.
Yes.
Right. I think that's how life kind of is, because when you're younger, you're thinking that, you know, getting to an adult age is going to take forever. Then you become an adult and the time just goes by quickly like that, you know? So yeah, I still remember being in college. I still feel like being in college was maybe like 10 years ago, but it's been a while. But yeah, that is what life is. So young people, when we tell you, listen to us, the older ones, when we tell you don't be in a rush to grow up, you are going to experience all the things that you're going to experience. You are going to get to experience them as long as God grants you, you know, good health and life, you know, but don't be in a rush to grow up. Everything is going to happen. Eventually it's going to happen. All right. So just take your time and grow up. All right. Everything okay with you?
Well, kinda, yeah. My son is not really feeling well, but other than that, I'm okay. Yeah.
Morning, Tyler. Hope that you feel better soon. All right. And good morning there to Kojo. I guess, yeah, Kojo is still with us. All right. So good there. All righty. So let's get into a topic that I really don't even want to have to talk about, but these things do happen within our society, and it would be remiss for us, especially as ladies, to not talk about it, all right? So talk about incidents such as these. But a Beckwith man, and reading this from Eyewitness News, a Beckwith man gets jailed for 16 years for raping a 16-year-old girl. All right, so Harold.
Oh no.
Harold Hamilton, 41 years old. Note his age, 41 years old. Had spent 3 months and 3 days on remand when Justice Ricky Burnett sentenced him on Friday, should have been last Friday, to the High Court number 2 in Kingston. This means that he will serve a further 15 years, 8 months, and 28 days in prison. Eyewitness News is withholding details of Hamilton's crime to protect the identity of the virtual complainant. At the trial, Hamilton maintained that the sexual relations with the virtual complainant was consensual. I think that's what is always being said. However, the 9-member jury rejected his defense and found him guilty. So that's just there talking a bit about Mr. Hamilton, his educational background, etc. This is from the social inquiry report, if I'm getting the word correct. Yes, a social inquiry report, yes. Mentioned that sending him to prison could result in this man's children suffering. In speaking about the person, the victim, the judge said Hamilton's crime had resulted in serious psychological harm to the virtual complainant, who attempted suicide multiple times. She resorted to alcohol and marijuana to help her cope and also used drugs to deal with her frustration. Hamilton faced a maximum of life in prison for his crime, a notional sentence of 30 years. All right. But as a result, he is getting 15 and he is going to serve out 15 years, 8 months, and 28 days in prison. And my takeaway from this situation, as I've expressed repeatedly here, is that men who commit rape, men who commit acts of sexual assault against both women and men, I don't have any sympathy for, right? There is a significant age difference between this man and the virtual complainant or the victim in this case, all right? She's only 16 years old. And my greatest takeaway from this story is what impact this situation has had on this young lady. This incident of rape is going to stay with her for the rest of her life. And as I've always said, raping somebody, I feel as if their soul is being taken from them. Sometimes I believe what we see from many of these individuals is just a shell that exists in that the core of who they are, their personality, the things who made them who they were before such incidents, that it goes away. Now, I know that some women, they do sort of move. I don't have to say they actually move on, right? But they're able to maybe compartmentalize what has happened to them and try to make progress in their life. But what happens with them stays with them for the rest of their life. And at 16 years old, it is so extremely difficult for me to hear of, number one, her wanting to commit suicide because it means that she no longer wants to be here on this earth. And to help her to cope with what has happened, she resorted to using alcohol and marijuana, which is why I always say as well, there are times when we look at, let's say, some women, and let me include boys or men in this situation as well too. There are times when as society, we see somebody acting in a particular way and we pass judgment on them, not knowing the circumstances or what led them up to it. Now, this is not to excuse everybody who, let's say, say they consume alcohol or they consume drugs, but other forms of drugs. But there are many times that persons go through so many things in life that we do not know about. We see them act in a particular way and we want to cast judgment on them. A woman could go from one stage to the other. She could move from one stage of maybe just being totally to herself, not wanting to have any sort of relationship or any sort of interaction with a man, or she could become totally promiscuous because her self-worth has been, is no longer there. She no longer feels as if she is worth anything. So it's just a few of the takeaways that I've got from this situation. Again, it's one of those topics that I am not pleased to have to be talking about, but we have to talk about them because it happens and it exists within our society. All right?
You said you preach the gospel there, Roleza, as we say in Attack, you preach. So I definitely agree with you. And there is no excuse for rape. I've said this before. I don't care whatever you come up with. I don't care what you say. There is absolutely no excuse for rape. And a 40-something-year-old man having sex with a 16-year-old girl, she's she's still as a child, because as long as you're not 18 years old, you are still a child. So him saying, or whoever said that it was consensual, big man, leave the little children alone, please. There are a lot of adult women that you can be in a relationship with. And if you are an adult man and adult women don't want to be with you, then something is up. And then I could see why you'd want to go to the younger women, because they're a little bit more impressionable and they probably haven't figured things out to push you away, and their mind is still young. But listen, find an alternative. Find an alternative. There's simply no excuse whatsoever.
And one of the things as well too, and as we talk in the same breath, that I know that for many women, when they go through certain things, they don't want to come forward because they feel as if they brought it upon themselves, right? And I do have to give commendations to her for even reporting it, right? And women who come forward and report such incidents, because we see in this case, it helps to take at least one nasty, worthless man off the street, all right? One less person is on the street to probably terrorize somebody else's child. And for women who find themselves in these situations, yes, I know it can be difficult. Yes, you are going to internalize and wonder what it is that I did wrong. What is it that I did to cause this person to treat me in this way? Some women may even feel as if they were so powerless that they couldn't even defend themselves. Some women just freeze in the process because they don't know what to do. They are physically overpowered as well, not just mentally, but they're also physically overpowered. And whenever, you have to find a strong support system. If it means that you need to just confide in one person who you need to maybe just let it off to, let them know what happened, tell at least somebody who you trust and go to the police, all right? Because the only way we can get a hand in these situations is if the matters are reported, if the matters are taken seriously, and if justice is allowed to prevail, all right? 41 years old and 16 years old is like, there's always this nasty thing that people tend to say. A lot of men, I don't hear it so much now, because I guess some men realize they would be pulled up and looked down upon for saying, but some people love to say after 12 is lunch. All right. After 12 is lunch, right? And I wanted to say something else, but it would be all right.
All right.
I'm a girl this morning. You know what is a child. You know what constitutes a child. And we know that many of you, as Dianna said, you are going to approach younger minds because they're more impressionable. Or maybe they may be the ones who feel difficult in talking about these situations, right? So those of you who can come forward and report, please report. All right. So
whenever a woman comes forward, a woman or a girl or whoever comes forward about rape, let's try to not give those so what you've been doing in his house and why he was there and all of that. Now, the situation may not be the most ideal, but a violation is a violation. And even if the woman gave you permission to come into her house and she said no, a violation is a violation. And
that's the thing, no means no. At any point in time, a woman could stop and she can say no. She has the right to change her mind. And correct. Once she says no, then that's it. All right. But men, some of you men out there, y'all need to really and truly do better. Y'all need to look within yourselves. And what it is that really upset me with this is the social inquiry report stating that him being sentenced is going to affect his children. A child was affected.
I'm saying.
All right, a child was affected. So anytime I see these sort of sentences and the going through the court process and they're saying that his or whoever's children are going to be affected, the person who is being sentenced should have realized that their life, their children's lives, and everybody else around them, that their life was going to be affected before they carried out whatever the act is. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So with that, we are heading on out as we are going to bring to you today's traffic talk in a few minutes time.